I just have to find Zoom again.
So,
perfect. Okay, here we are again with another segment of conversations from home, and this is once again a fantastic conversation that I'm very excited about, because it's a conversation about a modality of healing that I've also used for a few years, and I also studied and I became a therapist of Bio-Neuroemotion. So I'm so happy to be sharing this space with Virginia Eci from Spain and from Enric Corbera Institute. So very welcome, Virgi.
Thanks to all of you. And thanks to our common contact, Tanya.
That's right.
I would like to say thank you.
Yes, and lots of love to Tanya. Tanya was in Conversations from Home when we did it in Spanish a few months ago. So yeah, and she did an interview in a radio program, Alumbra. So we did a few things with Tanya as well. Okay.
Well, welcome, Virginia.
Thank you, Christian.
So what we were thinking for today, apart from explaining a little bit about BioNeuroEmotion therapy, I've also, being the vulnerable man I am, I'm presenting myself as the guinea pig. So I will have some of a session with you, Virginia, a BioNeuro therapy to be able to demonstrate how it works, and yeah, so I'm excited, I'm excited and anxious.
Yeah, I'm excited too. So I'm going to start maybe explaining a little bit, and after we can talk about and show the people how this affects on our bodies, our mind, and our perception. Okay? So the world around us is the manifestation of the thoughts, feelings, and beliefs we would have grown up with, shaping our state of consciousness and defining our framework of reality. Many of our decisions are dictated by unconscious influence. And now this is what we want to prove with Christian a little bit later, yeah? So, habits, beliefs, and all conditionings make us go through situations of emotional stress. And this emotional stress affects our lives. Getting out of this inertia doesn't depend so much on our intellectual level, but on our level of consciousness. So, being aware implies understanding what's behind our experiences and therefore being able to apply the necessary changes and create more positive realities. Yeah? Until we become conscious, our unconscious beliefs, we don't have the chance to decide if we want to maintain or change them. This blocks the change to our full potential. So, BioNeuroEmotion is a method focused on achieving a mind more conscious through a deeper understanding of our way of perceiving the world. When we talk about having a deeper understanding of our way of perceiving, we mean taking responsibility for our interpretations, knowing our context and unlearning all those automatisms that are conditioning our life. So, the techniques used in BioNeuroEmotions are directed so that people can modify the perception that they have of their situations, becoming aware of the information that they have on an unconscious level. In summary, the current method is developed in the following 4 phases. First of one is the analysis. And here we identify a situation of stress, an unadaptive behavior, or an emotional blockage. Yeah? Christian, you can think about what do you want to work?
I was gonna say, Virgi, I was gonna say that it's amazing once you start doing this modality, how we identify beliefs that we have that are creating a reality, and we just take it as for normal, you know, like a belief that we might have, that we think, oh, everybody believes this, and the reality is not that. That belief is yours sometimes, and is carried out from your family sometimes, and you're living your life according to that belief. So it's so important to question the beliefs.
Yeah, maybe I'm going to explain the 4 phases, and if you want, I can explain more this point. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Because it's very important when you have point now. I think it's the most important. So we are not conscious because this kind of beliefs, we learn from the environment unconsciously. Maybe in some phrases that your mother said about maybe months, yeah, maybe you can hear in your home when you are a child that all the men are dangerous, and you grow up believing that all men are dangerous. So I explain now. Sorry. Yeah, it is a possibility. So maybe I can explain later. Okay. So the second one is the compression. That it means going deeper into the understanding and the unconscious causes associated with the conflict. Yeah. So going deeper and understanding is more or less what you have asked me about 1 minute. Yeah. So what is around, what is in my environment, what is around me, so that I believe in that way. Yeah. The third is learning, is to recognize the aspects that are influencing or favoring this experience. So in which way I contribute to maintain the stress. So maybe we are not conscious that our behavior is maintaining this stress. Yeah. And this is very important. So we can change this behavior if we know what we want or what value we need in this situation. Explain that. So maybe I need to trust on life somebody, but my behavior is feeling angry with you all the time because I don't have this value. No? And this is the way that I'm contributing to maintain the stress. Do you understand that? Yeah, okay. And the last one is the application is to expand the resources and learn how to use them to enhance emotional well-being.
So can I go back? Can I go back to the other point? So the other point is you might want to change a behavior, but the emotions, you're still keeping that reality with your emotions. Is that what you meant?
Yeah, more or less. Our emotion is the vehicle that connects our unconscious mind and our conscious mind. Yeah, and it's like a vehicle that makes possible the communication between them. And the emotion is to the vehicle that connects the body with the mind. Yeah, and so we can study the environment, the things, what's happening around us, yeah, and what emotion that we have at that moment. So maybe this emotion is not completely us. Maybe we are reacting for something that happened us in the past, and our brain has recorded like dangerous or prevention, yeah, or maybe we are reactioning from a transgenerational information. Yeah. And when we are reacting from a transgenerational information, it's important to know what's happening in our families, silent, traumas, stress that they have. So they are giving us an information to be safe. But maybe now in our current life, don't need that at this moment. So I think the most interesting thing is thanks to the emotions, we can to return to that turning point in our life and to be able to perceive the situation differently, and therefore make another decision that affects our current life or a more satisfactory way for us. But previously is your question. How can we identify that emotion if from a young age and under the influence of our environment, we have been repressing and containing the expression of our emotions? Yeah.
So not expressing the emotions, yeah?
Yeah. This is, you have questioned me before, more or less, no? So the function of emotions is initially respond to the environment in an effective and intuitive and adaptive way. So in addition, they anchor the different learning and allow us to recognize the information hidden in our unconscious through the excessive reactions that we noted with respect to we perceive. For example, if we see a father scolding his son and it provokes us a tremendous reaction of anger in us, we will know that it is in that instance there is an unconscious information. It's not the reaction is excessive. Don't you think so? Oh, and at this point, we have to observe which part of our history we are seeing represent in that system. Yeah. As we
so whatever we are experiencing in the present, whether it's an excessive emotion or an excessive reaction, we have to go back to our past, yeah, and look where that might have been created, no?
Yeah, it represents a part of our own story, you know? Maybe I can feel anger because you laugh about my studies because it reminds me that my father laughs about me when I want to explain him that I want to study again when I was 30. Yeah, and my father said, "Oh, at your age, now it's not possible." And now I'm bothering when I see this sense in another people, in another person, in another person. It's okay. So, as we say, emotional reactions are natural, but when they are excessive, they reflect our unconscious information in an explicit and revealing way. This is one of the objectives of the BioNeuroEmotion, is to become aware of our emotions, which implies not only realizing, but taking responsibility of our way of perceiving and interacting with the environment, deciding in each situation how to relate in the healthiest way and most satisfactory way that we can. In this way, always will be improving our health and our emotional well-being. Yeah. So
it's interesting this topic, that this thing that you're saying, Virgi, because many people still don't connect the body and emotions. You know, people find sometimes that they have a symptom in their bodies and they totally disconnect. They go into a finding, okay, well, it could be my diet, it could be this, it could be that, but not never, but many people don't go into, okay, it could be an emotion, and it could be an people think that some illnesses are connected to emotions, but with that BioNeuroEmotion, like all the illnesses, all the discomforts in the body are connected to emotions.
Yeah, this is because the human being has grown up with a certainty that the origin of all the conflicts is outside. Yeah. This is because the mechanical paradigm, which has been predominant in science in recent years, advocates a fragmented view of the world. In this vision, we are conceived as entities separate from the environment, to which we have to continuously adapt. We function by moving away from what we dislike and towards everything that gives us pleasure, well-being, and peace. Following its postulates for centuries, the universe has been understood as a great machine in which matter and spirit, body and mind are considered separate entities. In this way, we have come to believe that the cause of everything that happens is outside ourselves. But this paradigm places us in a defenseless position, making us prone to feeling lucky or feeling victims of circumstance in a constant struggle to achieve stability. Instead, the basic principle on which the Bio-Neuroemotion methodology is based is the consciousness of unity. This refers to the primitive state of our consciousness, a mental state in which no limits or demarcation of any kind are perceived. It's important to understand that unity consciousness is not something outside us. The whole world is part of it. I'm part of it, you are part of it, all the world is part of it. And developing the consciousness of unity in each one is the main proposal of the Bio-Neuroemotion, assuming that the relationship and the influence we exert on our environment opens the doors to a new paradigm in which we have the opportunity to choose how we want to experience the different circumstances of life. Yeah, so maybe with an example, we clarifying, isn't it? Yeah. So
yeah,
I think maybe if I got a dual consciousness of separation, my attention is focused on my thoughts, on my identity, on my ego. Yeah. From the duality, everything has a beginning and an end, and a sequential order of cause and effect. So in this position, maybe I say, you make me feel bad. Yeah. And in this position, I'm feeling a victim of the circumstance because I'm feeling bad because of you. Yeah. And we know that we can change another people. Only we can change of our mind, on our way of perceiving the things. Yeah. And if I think you are the cause of my problems, yeah, I tend to ask myself questions like how, why, what I'm supposed to do at this moment, no? And it only makes me a backlog of thinking that don't move to anywhere. Yeah,
you get stuck in that. With that mentality, with those questions, they actually make you get stuck. Yeah.
So in this experience of unity, yeah, learnings appears not to take place through the logical and methodological processing of knowledge, yeah, but a consequence of a resonance with the new information. So it's important to clarify, what do you do that it makes me feel bad, and what is bad? Yeah. So maybe it would be better that when you say, I don't want to go with you, I feel in that way. Yeah. So now it has changed. Now it's mine. The responsibility is mine. Yeah. Because you have a behavior, and I can see your behavior, and I have the reaction. Yeah. And this reaction, maybe in my case, when you say maybe I don't want you, or I don't like you, yeah, is based in a child experience, yeah. When I was new in a new school, I came from another city to a new school, and other people or the other child told me that they don't like me because I was different to them, yeah. And my unconscious way to react is when I say something about I don't like you, I don't like what you say, or I don't like what you have done. It's like, oh, it's like it's like a trigger in my mind.
That's right.
And I start reacting, yeah. And it doesn't have nothing to be with this situation that you have told me I don't like you, yeah. It's always remind me this child's experience that I live with pain.
Yeah? And I was gonna say, actually this morning I had a session of BioNeuroEmotion with a friend. I've got friends in Mexico that they also did the diploma, the postgraduate. So we exchange. So sometimes they need a session, sometimes I need a session. So this morning I did a session because I needed, because I was creating the same situation with my children, with my 3 children. And I was just always reacting the same. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna see what is this about? And I had a session with this person, and a memory of when I was 16 came up that I was not aware. And it was amazing that the unconscious mind just opens and gives us these memories that are running our reactions that we're not aware. Like you said, you think, oh, they make me feel this way. But the reality is that there's something within myself that is constantly reacting when I'm exposed in a similar situation.
Yes, this is because I think now we have to talk a little bit now about the psyche. So our psyche, its form is divided in 3 parts, yeah? One is the I, formed by all the conscious and present thoughts. The other one is the personal unconscious. This is coined by Freud. And the collective unconscious, formed by the experience of all human beings, yeah? So the conscious mind, it's only a small percentage of the entire psyche. It's only about the 5%. And it's the psychic and attitude which a subject perceives the environment and perceives himself in it, yeah? In other words, consciousness is our window to the world around us. It includes what we become aware of and is linked to the mental activity and reflective knowledge of things, yeah? But the most important thing is the unconscious. The unconscious controls and records everything in our mind. It acts as a primitive survival mechanism, and its response must be as fast and as accurate as possible. This is maybe you have explained that you are repeating a situation. Now, in this situation, is your unconscious that is reacting because it's saying you how to survive and how to be protected in that situation. Yeah. And the unconscious, I think, is fantastic. I'm marvelous with the unconscious because it's constantly stories are memories through the body sensory systems, yeah? And it processes between 95 and 97% of the perceived sensory stimuli, yeah. Their priority is to protect us from a danger, from a danger, yeah. And he doesn't listen to reasons. He doesn't stop to wonder if something is right or wrong. the veracity of things is not even questioning. It reacts like up so quickly, yeah? And maybe you can have a situation that you are watching a movie in which a dramatic sense appears, and automatically our physiology is agitated, and we are capable of feeling a whole stories, a whole of series of physiological reactions, like our breathing is altered, our hands are sweating, our heart change the rhythm, and we don't know what is happening to us at this moment, yeah? The unconscious cannot reason or understand that we are sitting quietly in the cinema, watching a movie. It doesn't distinguish the real from the symbolic, and we react even knowing that there is nothing real. There is nothing real to react. We know that we are showing a movie, watching a movie, yeah, but we feel the sensations and we react, yeah. It's like maybe we react when we see a tiger leaping towards to us in the screen, and we jump. It's like, oh no, it's not real, but we are reacting. That's right. So this is what's happening most part in our life until we be aware, yeah.
So it happens with relationships. I mean, that's in the cinema, but then in our daily life, it happens with our partners, with our bosses, with our children. You know, it's just, you know, happening and we're not aware.
Yeah. It's happening with all the contacts and all with the environments that we move, yeah. I put the example of the watching because I think it's easy to understand, no? But if I haven't solved any problem with my family, maybe I reflect this problem in my environment, in my environment work, yeah?
The work environment, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, maybe, so this is very common and typical, yeah? Maybe I've been angry with my father because when I was young, they don't let me do more things that I want to do, yeah? And now, because I repress this emotion with my father because they punish me, don't go out to the street or something similar, yeah? I can, my emotion is repressed in myself, and now I got the same feeling with my boss because represent, for my unconscious mind, represent the same, yeah? An authority figure, yeah? And now I'm reacting with my boss when she says something because I don't react when I was young, and react with him saying something like, no, I can grow in this company. No, you don't let me do how to improve my team. Yeah, you don't allow me to be the leader. Something like similar. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And now I think in this point, the motion in this type of process acts as the vehicle that links the unconscious with our perception. And it's very important to know who we are, real, not the ego that we think we are. Yeah, to know, to know who really are, where are our pains, where are our fears, where are inside ourselves, and how is my fear maybe projecting into the world, and how due this projection I blocked my full potential. So if I feel to establish an intimate relationship, yeah, my behavior is going to be in this way, but maybe I want to to connect intimately with another person, no? And this causes feelings contradictory in the person or in the individual, yeah? Because in one way, in the conscious way, you want to establish, you want to make an intimate connection, but the unconscious way say, don't make the intimate connection because maybe it's transgenerational, no? Because maybe when the people in your clan or transgenerational has been an intimate connection, it means pain. It means not to be happy in the family or in the couple. And
this could also be, for example, when sometimes people say, oh, all the women that I meet, all the men that I meet don't want to commit. You know, I always find relationships with men or women, and they don't want to commit. They don't want to have a serious relationship with me, although I want to have a serious relationship. So that's the conscious mind wanting to have a serious relationship, and the unconscious mind creating something different. But we are just probably making the outside world responsible. Every man that I meet don't want to have a serious relationship or don't want to commit. So that's the two minds here, the conscious and the unconscious, playing two different ways, two different realities almost.
Yeah, this is the importance to know how it links, yeah, because if we want to have a better life or our well-being, we need to know what's happening, yeah. So the transgenerational refers to what goes beyond our generation proper. The transgenerational study allows us to understand the programs and unconscious links with our ancestors that make us live repetitive or excessive situations like we are talking about just a few moments. It allows us to understand that information is not lost. This is very important, and is transmitted from parents to children with the aim that someone from the clan can transcend traumatic or painful experience. What we mean with transcend is to see the same situation in a higher point of view, in an elevated point of view. So maybe I think it's better with an example, no? And I'm going to continue with the commitment example, so I can explain you because I was one of them. So my conscious mind wants to have a serious relationship with a man, but my unconscious mind were keeping me safe, no? And I don't know how to explain, but in several relationships, it's like doesn't work. It doesn't work, no? So when I study or I go in deeper in my behavior, yeah, I realized that my behavior wasn't in the line to have a commitment, yeah? Wasn't, just in the opposite, because when somebody make me a proposal like, oh, we want to meet together or something similar, I start saying, oh, it's possible, but maybe it's better in another place, or maybe it's better another time. So I was trying in an unconscious way, yeah, I was trying to escape from that situation, but my conscious mind and my desire is to meet with a person. You know what I mean? But what's happening behind me? What's happening in my unconscious mind? This part that is the 95 or 97%. He was keeping me safe because in my family story, my grandma and my grandfather, yeah, they were obligated to get married, yeah, because they worked together in a village, in a small village, yeah, they worked together, and my grandmother was pregnant from my grandfather, and they don't were married, yeah. This is in this period of time in Spain, it was the same. Yeah, it can be possible. So my grandmother was accused to be who are a bit, yeah. The mother of my grandfather, yeah, they obligated to get married because he was very related with the Catholicism and the church, yeah, and they obligated them to get married. But my grandfather, they don't want to get married. He doesn't want to get married with my grandmother, yeah. But they were obligated by the circumstance, the environment, the culture, yeah. And as you can imagine, this relationship, it was a non-healthy relationship, yeah. They wasn't to be together, and now my unconscious mind is saying me, yeah, take care, don't go with this person because you are not going to be happy, you are going to suffer in the relationship, yeah.
Like your grandmother did, that's right. Your grandmother suffered in the relationship, so then the program was downloaded to you, no? And then you were like, relationships are painful, or you're gonna suffer in the relationship, no?
Yeah, and now I got another experience from my mother that corroborate the same, the same line. No, it's not the same experience, but it's the same line. So my man runs off the love of his life, my father, yeah. They left his job. She was working in another city, yeah, and he left his job and goes with my father. And she realized when they were living together, yeah. So they for they living together, they need to get married. So the culture the same, no?
Yeah.
So when they get married, they my father was always out working in more some party reunions of work, something similar, no? And my mom was alone at home, yeah. And it was pregnant of me. She was pregnant of me, yeah. And I grew up with this belief, yeah, because when my mom was pregnant from me, the more I feel the same emotion than she feels at that moment, yeah. And it's like if you are in a couple, if you are commitment with somebody, he's gonna part you. You are going to be alone. This corroborates the line that relationships between man and woman in my clan are not satisfactory. Yeah, it's a source of painful more than something that gives you well-being. Yeah.
It's amazing how this information is passed on in a genetic line, and then we're here 2020 living our lives thinking that we are free, and then we realize when we start really looking at our lives and what we are creating, that we are actually repeating a lot of the patterns that were you know, or maybe trying to solve, but repeating patterns that are, you know, from our grandparents or our great-grandparents, or beliefs. Sometimes we have beliefs that, you know, our grandparents had, and we don't realize this unless we start really looking within and understanding who we are.
Yeah, because sometimes we don't explain our behavior or disproportionate emotional reaction because we are with all the emotional chairs of our ancestors. Yeah, it's like something is like if you weren't reacting as you are. Sometimes it's like you were reacting as your man reacts, or your man can react with this painful, because people doesn't used to say how they feel or how, unless in Spain, no, we are very close and we don't know how to share of our emotions. Yeah,
that's right, express our emotions. That's right.
Yeah, it's very difficult. So I think I love this job because it's a new way to express myself. Yeah, and I have to start from zero because I was completely an emotional analphabet.
That's right.
And I've been growing up because I've been knowing my emotions, and I feel better with myself because I can understand this. So maybe in other times when another boy or man rejects me, yeah, it's like very painful. I feel like all the painful of my mom, my grandma, all the painful. Maybe I was 1, 2, 3 months depressive, like, oh, what I'm supposed to do, how can I change it? No. And now the last time that somebody rejects me, is like, oh, it's fine, it's okay, one day. It's not the same. I understand, I take my mind, I take my responsibility because I was blocking the meeting with this person, and it's okay, I've done it, and I can go on.
And what I find as well sometimes is that even though you have done done a session and you have understood where some of your patterns come, you still have to go through them again because it's like if you're learning, okay, like for example, the session that I did this morning, and I got clarity about the session, but then in the afternoon, I was again in front of the same situation. And it was like, okay, am I dealing with the situation differently now that I got an understanding? And there was more peace being in the same situation. You know what I mean? So sometimes, even though you have an understanding of where some of our patterns come and our reactions, life still brings the situation again. Like for example, with you had to be in another relationship that you break up to know that, well, now I can deal with it differently.
Yeah, because I think the most important is being focused on which from I'm reacting, to be aware of our emotional condition at the moment. Yeah, so maybe at this moment, stop a minute or a second and ask yourself, I'm reacting from the old pattern, victims, impossible relationships, yeah, or I am reacting from this new state of consciousness, yeah. And this is the difference. And because life, the unconscious is always keeping you safe, yeah. And to make a change, the unconscious has to be safe, that you want really do you really want this? Yeah, it's like the first time. I like to compare it when the first time we learn to drive. Yeah, so the first time we learn drive, we are in the car. We check a mirror, a key, where is everything, you know? And now, when I take consciousness about a situation, yeah, the same time in a similar situation, we have to ask the same, no? I have to check my mirror, yeah, it's the same. So it was a moment that is automatically, yeah, but the first time you have to check, yeah, wait a moment, which is my emotional state at this moment, and from where I'm reacting from, yeah.
And that's really important to do that, and observing ourselves, you know, and like you're saying, from what place am I reacting, from my old way or from this new way? And it's just,
Yeah.
it's amazing, because this new way, well, then you know, you'll have to keep practicing it to become more automatic, you know, to become more part of you, of your new way of being. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if we continue talking, or maybe Christian, you can ask something, or
Yeah, I was just when you were talking earlier about things that happen automatically, often. So I'm a dad of 2 biological children, and then a stepdad of three stepdaughters, and obviously I've been in a relationship with Nancy for almost just 8 years, and throughout that time, one thing that happens almost instantly, usually when it feels like a conflict situation, I disconnect.
what
And
do
it
you
happens.
mean with disconnect?
I don't know whether I suppress emotion.
As I've said before, we are all connected,
Yeah.
always connected. We are not separated one from other. Yeah, we are all connected.
I feel I go numb. So I either suppress emotion, or I'm really angry, really. And usually where I feel it, anxiety, I feel it in my stomach. And my stomach's been something throughout many decades, is where I hold a lot of my anxiety and I probably my anger is where I hold my stomach.
Yeah, it could be, but so the first of all, you need to identify which specific situation is triggering you this physiological reaction, like a pain in your stomach. Yeah, maybe it's important. So when we describe a situation, yeah, it's there are very factors, or many factors, you know. So it's important to identify which one is that triggers you to a physiological reaction. Maybe it would be uh, a word, yeah. It reacts in your mind like something wow, or maybe it would be something that I do with my hands, and it maybe reminds you another part of your life. I explain. Uh, I have a session with a girl, uh, and she can't hold that somebody points her in that way. Yeah, it's it was only this point here, yeah? This this gesture makes
Yeah.
her to connect with when he was a child, yeah, and his daddy punishes her and doesn't allow her to go with her friends. In this world, you can't do that. And when she see the finger, yeah, automatically in his mind starts thoughts about you can't, you can't, you can't, you can't. It's like a battle in the mind.
I mean, I feel it usually is triggered by feeling like I've been told off or not being heard or not being listened to. And I know my father was quite controlling, and I've got some of those within myself as well. I've got controlling tendencies myself. So the feeling of being told off, I really reject and triggers me. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, from the unity consciousness, yeah, all will reject, it's in all we will convert, because it's the same information, yeah, it's the same information, but so imagine a line, yeah, and I reject this behavior, I'm in this point, yeah, and you want to be in the other point, but if I reject the opposites, I never can be the way how to integrate them. Yeah. So I think in this case, it's important to understand why your father acts in this way. He's responding to an environmental necessity. Yeah. He's responding to something. And if you want to not to just this behavior, you need to understand to uh, to find later the way to integrate and transcend and transcendence this information.
As in understand what was going on in my father's life to react that way.
Yeah, because all the people have a positive intention, yeah, with all the behavior, yeah. So this is what I mean. This is what I mean. Maybe we so thinking a child, I think it's easier, yeah. A child sometimes is laughing very loud and screams, yeah. It's not a typical good behavior, but what does this child needs? What do you think he needs?
I don't know, love, attention.
Attention, yes, yes. And maybe what he obtains with the attention, something more important for, for the boy.
As in love and support.
Yes, it could be, yeah. So when you understand that this boy is haven't got a bad behavior, instead this boy needs attention, your way of perceiving and reacting is different. Yes. And you don't just the boy like you are a bad boy, and you are not conditioning this boy mind or psyche. Yeah. So you can understand that he needs something, and you can find another ways to give what he needs with another behavior. The same is for your father. If you can understand what he moves to act in this way, it would be easier not to judge him at this moment, and your behavior can change. Do you understand? It's okay? I explain, okay?
Yeah. It's almost like putting yourself in the other person's shoes.
Yes, it's very important. So, the empathy, it's important not only in a cognitive way, no? It's very important in a sentimental way. So, mostly of the times, we can understand with our mind, with our mental mind, the people, but not with, but we don't connect with the emotion, with the needs of the person. Yeah. And I think the key is to connect in both ways, to understand in our mind what is he doing, or what is he doing, no? And to understand in our heart what is he or she needs. So I think
what my father needed at that point in time, understanding why he would have even reacted.
So study his life circumstance. It would be interesting, so you can realize maybe I'm going to invent it. It's not real. So maybe your father has a big pressure with the state, maybe, with the job. Okay, it's a crisis situation, yeah, and he doesn't know how to manage it. He doesn't know, and the best way for being quiet or for have any peace is to make rules for you, yeah, because he needs to feel a space of quiet, of peace. It's very important for him, but his circumstances doesn't allow to make him in another way. And when you can, it's an example, yeah.
But it's not that it's not that far different.
Okay. But when you understand that your father doesn't know how to do it better, and what's running into himself, you can stop, or your judge is different to him, yeah, because maybe you doesn't know that your father needs a space and a busy space for him, yeah. And maybe if you are when you are a child, you want to play with your father, and it's like, oh, daddy, I want to go to the park, daddy, I want to do this, daddy, I want to do that, yeah. And your daddy has many troubles in his head. It's like, oh no, please go do your homework and be quiet, please. The boy doesn't understand this, but now you are an adult, you can understand these circumstances, yeah. And maybe if you are father, I think it's better that you can understand. Yeah,
very, very much so. It's very similar. I like my quiet time.
very similar. So yeah. So we have talking about a few minutes ago, about we repeat or transgenerational patterns, and behaviors and emotions and beliefs, Maybe you got to believe that this is the way to be quiet, or to be relaxed at home,
Yes, I do like my quiet.
With 5 kids and a dog, sometimes, and with me, so 5 kids, a dog, and me, sometimes it's hard to be quiet.
So I've been
but
doing what I can to practice some self-care and to go for a walk or something.
yeah, but everything depends, no? Maybe, Nancy, you don't leave it like a stressful situation, or maybe, yeah, I don't know. It depends of the person. So uh, imagine a girl that has grown up alone, without brothers, and very isolated. Yeah. Now maybe to have 5 kids, a dog, a cat, and all the people around, is it's good for her, because she doesn't have it when he was a child, and now this child need, it's fully complement. It's like it's everything perfect, you know. It depends of the perception always
That's right.
on our needs. I think it's fundamental to need to know what are our inner needs, yeah, in each situation. I think
And you
it's
said something really, I mean, actually, what you said, it resonated with me because, I mean, I have only one sister, but because my mom found it very difficult to have, uh, to deal with relationship with her brother, her sisters, so she would isolate from everybody. So with my sister, we were brought up with our cousins, so it was quite isolated in a way. So I've always imagined having lots of family. So it's really interesting that you said that, because of course that the noise, sometimes it drives me crazy, and I do need silence. But we have in the house our 5 kids, the dog, plus many friends of our children. Like, they come to the house. It's a house with lots of people, most of the times. And I like it, although sometimes I'm uncomfortable too, you know.
okay. It's
And
perfect.
so the duality for me there, Virginia, is whilst I like having, because I have a big family of lots of cousins, but there's that duality for me where it's like, I want my space in my room. I'll close the door and I,
So
you know what I mean?
it depends of our perception. Yeah, maybe you have grown up in a noisy family, yeah, with more people, and you need your space, or not, or maybe you have been very happy with a noisy family, and you want a noisy family because it keeps you with well-being. Yeah, it depends on the perception and things happening at that moment. Also, I think everyone is a world.
That's right. That's right. It's a universe. I mean, that's why
Yes.
it's so important to look within, because there's so much that we don't know about ourselves, really.
Yeah, so I think we are a universe, a whole universe. We can say this is in that way for all the people, because it's not true. So each individually has their own truths, not, yeah. I think
Wow.
it's very interesting.
It's fascinating. It's
Yes.
fascinating. And this, I find that this time at the moment is, if you are open, it's so much, I don't know, the energy is there for us to sort of see things with more clarity, you know, at the moment. It just keeps popping up.
Yeah, yeah. It's the way to be better with us and to feel a inner peace. Yeah, peace. Sorry.
Yes.
because now we're running all the time with situations, and we need to know what make us in peace.
And it has to be our aim, isn't it? It has to be our aim to create peace. I mean, there's no other aim at the moment than creating peace within ourselves, within our families, and in our world. I mean, I cannot imagine any other aim, really.
Yeah, but I think the BioNeuroEmotion aim is that. Yeah. So.
But I think it's been really interesting, though, this year. People within the same family have dealt with the pandemic very differently. And this is not to judge, but it is to judge in a way. Is some people, some siblings are full of fear, others are not taking too much to the fear and trying to take things step by step. But it's, yet they've come from the same family. They've been brought up in technically the same way, but they're dealing with it very differently.
Have you got any brother?
Indeed, I do too. One brother and a sister.
It's perfect. So your brother and you has grown up in the same family, isn't it? With the same values, with the same culture, yeah? But your way of perceiving the world and your way of interpret the situation, it's completely different. But you are in the same culture, in the same way, yeah? And this is what marks the difference. How I internalize, yeah, the situations. It's very, very, so the same happens with my sister and me. We are like day and night, yeah? We're completely different. So we share the same information, unconscious information, transgenerational information, but we manifest in different ways, yeah? And we experiencing life are very different. Our way to experience the life is very different. So it depends. So this is why each person, each individually is a world.
It's a world, yeah.
It's a whole world. Because maybe I can say you, yeah, you look so nice. Yeah. And you can feel maybe with a little bit shame, because it's like, oh, I'm nice. What's happening? No. And I can see you feel nice and you feel proud, you feel good, you feel okay. It's different, yeah? And it's different, the emotional state in each person. Everything is different. So I think the most beautiful thing of the method of BioNeuroEmotion is that we study how each individually has formed in his mind. And so this is your information, no? But not all the individuals react in the same way or respond in the same way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's amazing, and there's so much to keep looking. If I mean, once you turn the eye inwards, you never stop, really. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Sometimes when you're looking in the outside is limited. Oh yeah, he does this, she does this, and we still stuck in that little story. It's such a little story. But then when you turn here, there's more and more and more. It's just fascinating, really.
Yeah, because I think we never end. It has no end. Yeah. So we have begun with BioNeuroEmotion, but it hasn't got an end. It's like it's another way to be in the world. It's, for me, it's completely different the way to be in the world nowadays than 10 years ago. You know, it's very, very different.
No, for me, honestly, it has changed my life as well. And I do, I mean, it's not that I don't fall, but when I fall, I look at it again. I keep looking at myself, you know.
Yes,
And when I look at myself, I find something, you know. It's not a closed door like before, you know. Before it was like, oh, well, this is how it is. I can't do anything about it. Whereas now it's like, no, okay, there's always something that I can heal or look at differently, change a behavior, you know.
Yeah, of course. So this is the proposal of the BioNeuroEmotion, is to develop in each one of us the consciousness of unity. So it means to understand in another way that nothing is separated. It's always related, no? And how? Observing our relationship and understanding what they teach us about ourselves. So you are teaching me one aspect or more about myself, yeah? And what we do mainly, focusing on the inversion of thought, yeah? It's like going through perceiving external circumstance as the cause of our problems to understand the responsibility we have in each experience and what we learn from them. All this time, all this is the aim of laying the foundation for a deep awareness that allows reaching a mental state of balance and understanding. I think this is the key, for me is the key. Reach this mental state of balance and understanding, because when I understand a situation that I have maybe with you or with you, yeah, my emotional reaction is like, it's going down like, and I feeling when you understand, everything changes. Mostly of the times our behavior is changing too, and we don't realize. It's like, what? It changed? It's like, oh, sometimes we are unaware or we don't realize that we have changed many things in our lives. I think it's important to remind it because this is the engine, this is the power to affront the life each day.
That's right. And yeah, that's right. And like we always say, you know, if you're not happy with something, make sure you just look at it from different angles to see how you can improve it, or how can you change the perception of whatever you're going through. Because we're not here really to suffer. You know what I mean? We're not here in this life to suffer. Yes, we do have a lot of different situations that we go through, but can we create peace? You know, can we create peace within? Because sometimes we live in hell in our minds and in our emotions. Yeah. You know, we're really in hell. You know, it's just very painful. But if we can sort of, you know, start looking within and start healing some of the patterns of some of the beliefs, you know, our life might change as well, you know.
Yeah, sometimes it's a hard work because it implies to see you deeper inside you, and to recognize maybe some things that you don't want to recognize about yourself, like maybe that in some occasions you are a manipulator and it's not funny for you. You don't like it. But sometimes I think it's hard, but I think it's the way to change too.
That's right. I mean, that's right. I mean, we with Christian, because we've been doing a lot of work, and to recognize, oh my God, we're very judgmental, or we are very controlling, or to recognize that type of behavior that everybody, oh no, I don't want to be like that, or envious or jealous, or it's like, ooh, I don't want to be that, I don't want to be that. But once you look at it and you have an understanding, where does this come from? You create peace, and even that behavior changes.
Yes, because it hurts to us.
Mm.
Yeah, this is why we don't want to see it, because it hurts. But I think it's very important to understand ourselves too, because I've got a reason to be maybe a controller. Yeah, I got a reason. I got an unconscious reason to be in that way. So when I can understand, I can stop just my behavior, and I can change my behavior and being in the life in another way.
That's right. Definitely. Oh, thank you, Virginia. I don't know whether you want to say anything, Bebe. Do you want to say anything else, Christian? Or
No. I mean, yeah. Look, I think it's beautiful. Like, I mean, certainly control is something that's there for me. I've tried to resist it because I felt my father was quite a disciplined sort of person. But whatever I resist, I amplify.
Yeah. So thanks. I would like to say thank you again, both of you, Tanya too. It has been funny and reachable experience for me. It's the first time that I give a speech in English. So thank you very much. A speech in English about BioNeuroEmotion. So thank you very much for the opportunity. I feel very good with you. Thank you again.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure, and it's been beautiful meeting you. And are you back at the institute already or not? Are you still not? Are you locked down in Spain, or you're back at the institute?
I'm in Spain.
No, but are you back in the institute?
Yeah, I'm in the institute, yeah.
Okay, because you were in lockdown before, yeah?
Yeah. So I know that we have been talking about etc., no? But I think if you need more information for all the people that is seeing us, yeah, or watching us, they can write to Institute of Emotions, yeah, and ask for more information about what is BioNeuroEmotion, maybe. Oh, we have other series that explain it very well. But I prefer to talk and explain with emotion, because I think it's the point that make us the difference. Emotion.
So Enric Corbera Institute, they look for, yeah. Enric Corbera Institute, yeah?
We'll put the link in the chat. So.
Okay, and you can also see the link of instituteofemotions.com.
Oh, instituteofemotions.com.
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day in Spain. You're in Barcelona?
No, not at the moment. I'm in Cuenca.
Okay, all right. We were in Barcelona in 2018. We loved it.
Yeah, I used to go before the pandemic, usually, but now things have changed, but I hope to be in a few days. I'm gonna ask the universe, see what's happening.
Okay, thank you so much. And much love to you. And thank you everybody for watching us. And if you have any questions, please write to instituteofemotions.com or write to the chat, and someone will be able to help you. And just join us again on Monday. We are with a very special person again, Ross Wilson from Melbourne. He's a naturopath, and he's an neurologist. And I've known Ross Wilson for more than 25 years, so I highly recommend him. So I'm happy to have you on board as well. So we see you back on Mondays. Thank you, Virgi.
Thanks to you. Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Un beso, ciao.